If you've noticed your hands shaking while holding a cup of tea, struggling to button your shirt, or feeling your grip weaken when opening a jar, you are not alone, and this is far more serious than most people realize after age 50. The main issue we are discussing today is the gradual decline in hand stability and grip strength, often linked to aging nerves, reduced muscle activation, and subtle neurological changes. Left unaddressed, it can slowly take away one of the most basic human abilities, the power to control your own hands with confidence. The solution is not complicated or extreme, but it does require understanding the right type of targeted exercise that directly retrains the connection between your brain, nerves, and hand muscles. Without this, simple daily tasks can turn into frustrating challenges, increasing the risk of drops, injuries, and loss of independence. What makes this even more concerning is that, after age 50, studies show grip strength can decline by 1% to 2% every year if not actively maintained, and tremor-related conditions like essential tremor affect millions of adults worldwide, often progressing silently before becoming noticeable in daily life. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I'll show you what's really happening with shaky hands and weak grip strength, and the simple, practical steps that can truly make a difference. The danger here is not just physical, it is emotional and functional. Losing hand control can affect your confidence, independence, and even your social life, as many seniors begin avoiding activities like cooking, writing, or even eating in public due to embarrassment. Research in geriatric neurology shows that reduced hand stability is strongly linked to overall frailty and increased fall risk, meaning it is not an isolated problem but part of a bigger aging pattern. And yet, most people are only told to exercise more without ever being shown which specific movements actually retrain fine motor control and restore coordination. In this video, I will also reveal a ranked list of what actually works, and the most common mistake nearly every senior makes that quietly worsens the shaking instead of improving it. To understand why shaky hands and weak grip strength become more common after age 50, we need to look at what is happening inside the body at a neurological and muscular level. Hand control is not just about muscles. It is a highly coordinated system involving the brain's motor cortex, peripheral nerves, and fast-twitch muscle fibers in the forearm and fingers. As we age, this system gradually loses efficiency. One of the key changes is a reduction in motor neuron signaling speed. In simple terms, the messages from your brain to your hands become slower and less precise, which can lead to tremors, delayed reactions, and reduced stability during fine movements. At the same time, muscle fibers, especially the fast twitch fibers responsible for grip strength, begin to shrink and decrease in number. Clinical studies show that adults can lose up to 30% of muscle mass between ages 50 and 70 if no targeted resistance or coordination training is performed. Another major factor is reduced blood flow to the extremities. As circulation becomes less efficient with age, the hands receive less oxygen and fewer nutrients, which directly affects endurance and control. Researchers in neuromuscular aging have also observed that the small stabilizing muscles in the hand and wrist become less responsive unless they are regularly activated through precise repetitive movement patterns. This is why general exercise like walking or light stretching often fails to improve hand tremors or grip weakness. It does not specifically retrain the fine motor pathways. Clinical data published in geriatric health journals suggests that nearly 1 in 4 adults over 65 experience some form of hand tremor or noticeable grip decline, even without diagnosed neurological disease. Specialists also note that this decline accelerates after age 60 due to combined effects of sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, nerve signal slowing, and reduced motor learning efficiency in the brain. What makes this particularly important is that standard advice like stay active or eat healthy only partially addresses the issue. These recommendations support general health, but they do not directly reactivate the precise neuromuscular pathways responsible for hand stability. This is why many seniors continue to experience worsening grip strength even when they believe they are doing everything right. Now that we understand the biological cause, the next step is to examine the most common misconceptions that silently make the problem worse, and why some popular habits may actually accelerate hand weakness instead of fixing it. One of the most common misconceptions about shaky hands and weak grip strength is the belief that it is simply normal aging and nothing can be done about it. While aging does play a role, this mindset is dangerous because it leads to inactivity. When the hands are not actively trained, the brain-to-muscle connection weakens further, and the tremors often become more noticeable over time. The real damage here is not aging itself, it is the loss of neuromuscular stimulation. Without regular targeted activation, the small stabilizing muscles in the hands continue to weaken, and coordination declines faster than it should. Another frequent mistake is relying only on general exercise like walking, light stretching, or household chores. These activities support cardiovascular health, but they do very little for fine motor control. The problem is that they do not challenge the specific nerve pathways responsible for grip precision and tremor control. As a result, the deeper issue, nerve-muscle communication, remains untrained and continues to deteriorate silently. A third misconception is overusing hand supports like braces or avoiding hand use altogether to prevent shaking. While this may temporarily reduce discomfort, it actually encourages muscle disuse. Over time, reduced usage leads to faster muscle atrophy, making the grip even weaker when the support is removed. Clinical specialists in aging and neurology now emphasize that this decline is not purely irreversible damage. In fact, research in neuroplasticity shows that the brain can rewire motor control pathways even in older adults when the right type of stimulation is applied consistently. This means that shaky hands and weak grip strength are not just something to manage. They can often be improved through targeted, repetitive, and structured movement patterns that reactivate dormant motor units. The key gap in standard medical advice is this: most recommendations focus on symptom management rather than rebuilding the underlying control system. But once you understand this distinction, the path forward becomes much clearer and far more hopeful. Now that we've uncovered what most people get wrong, we can move into the most important part of this video: a ranked list of foods, habits, and exercises that actually influence grip strength GTH and hand stability from least to most effective. Let's go through the most commonly recommended foods, drinks, and habits that influence hand stability and grip strength, but in a realistic, science-aligned ranking from least effective to most effective. Starting at number 10, light hand stretching is often suggested. It helps improve flexibility and may slightly reduce stiffness in the fingers, but its impact on grip strength is minimal. Studies suggest only about a 2 to 3% improvement in mobility-related comfort, with no major effect on tremor control. It is safe and easy, but it does not rebuild nerve-muscle coordination. At number 9, hydration plays a subtle role. Dehydration can worsen muscle fatigue and increase shakiness, especially in older adults. Proper hydration may improve muscle efficiency by around 5%, but alone it cannot correct neurological control issues. Number 8 is magnesium-rich foods like spinach, almonds, and pumpkin seeds. Magnesium supports nerve signaling and muscle relaxation. Some clinical observations suggest mild improvement in muscle steadiness, around 5 to 8%, but benefits are slow and indirect. At number 7, hand grip stress balls. These can increase local hand strength by 10 to 12% over time, but they mainly target squeezing force, not fine motor control, which limits their effectiveness for tremors. Number 6 is omega-3 fatty acids from fish or supplements. Omega-3s support nerve health and reduce inflammation, with research showing modest improvements in neuromuscular efficiency, around 8–10% over long-term use. However, results take months and are not immediate. At number 5, B-complex vitamins, especially B1, B6, and B12. These are essential for nerve repair and signaling. In deficient individuals, improvement can reach 10–15%, but if levels are already normal, the effect is limited. Number 4 is regular walking. While not directly targeting hand control, walking improves circulation and brain oxygenation. Studies show indirect improvements in motor coordination of around 10–12%, but again, no direct retraining of hand nerves. At number 3, protein intake from eggs, lean meats, or legumes. Protein supports muscle repair and prevents further loss. Combined with activity, it can improve strength retention by 15–20%, but still does not address tremor control directly. Number 2 is finger coordination exercises like piano-style tapping or slow alternating finger movements. These begin to retrain motor pathways and can improve hand control by 20–30% when done consistently. This is where true neurological adaptation begins. Finally, number 1 is targeted neuromotor retraining exercises that combine resistance, precision movement, and brain engagement at the same time. These exercises directly reactivate dormant motor units in the hand and forearm, improving grip stability and tremor control by up to 40–50% in clinical rehabilitation settings when practiced consistently. Unlike all previous methods, this approach targets the root cause, the brain-hand connection itself. Now we focus on the 3 most powerful approaches that actually influence shaky hands and weak grip strength at the root level. These are not quick fixes, but clinically grounded methods that improve nerve-muscle coordination, circulation, and fine motor control over time. The first and most important solution is targeted neuromotor retraining exercises. This is the foundation because it directly rebuilds the communication between your brain and your hand muscles. Unlike general exercise, these movements are slow, controlled, and repetitive, forcing the nervous system to relearn precision. Simple examples include slow finger-to-thumb tapping, controlled squeezing and releasing of a soft ball, and alternating finger lifts while keeping the palm stable. When done consistently, this approach can significantly improve grip stability and reduce tremor intensity because it strengthens the exact motor pathways responsible for hand control. The second solution is resistance-based grip activation. This involves light but progressive resistance using everyday objects like a stress ball, towel twisting, or rubber band finger extensions. The key is not force, but consistency and control. This helps rebuild forearm strength and improves endurance in the small stabilizing muscles of the hand. Over time, this can reduce fatigue-related shaking and improve daily function. The third solution is circulation-focused movement, such as slow wrist rotations, arm elevation exercises, and gentle aerobic activity like walking combined with periodic hand activation. Better blood flow means more oxygen delivery to nerve endings and muscles, which directly supports smoother coordination. Now, the most effective approach is the neuromotor retraining system. The reason it works better than the others is because it targets the brain's control system, not just muscle strength. After age 50, the issue is often not lack of strength, but reduced precision in motor signaling. By repeatedly practicing controlled hand movements, the brain rebuilds accuracy and timing. A simple daily plan includes practicing these exercises for 10–15 minutes in the morning and evening. Movements should be slow, deliberate, and pain-free. Do not rush repetitions, as speed reduces neurological benefit. You may feel mild hand fatigue or slight tingling in the first 1–2 weeks, which is generally harmless and indicates muscle reactivation. However, if you experience persistent pain, numbness, or worsening tremor, it is important to consult a healthcare professional to rule out underlying neurological conditions. Consistency matters more than intensity. Even small daily sessions can gradually improve coordination and grip stability when done correctly. Now that we have covered the most effective solutions and how to apply them, the final step is to understand the most critical mistakes to avoid and how to turn this into a simple 30-day improvement challenge for better hand control and independence. Before you begin improving hand stability and grip strength, There are a few critical mistakes that must be avoided because they quietly slow down progress or even worsen symptoms over time. First, avoid ignoring early signs like mild shaking or occasional grip weakness. These are often the earliest signals that the neuromuscular system is beginning to lose coordination, and early intervention matters. Second, avoid relying only on passive solutions like braces or resting the hands too much, because reduced use can speed up muscle and nerve decline. Third, avoid rushing exercises or using excessive force, since shaky hands are often a coordination issue, not just a strength problem. Fourth, avoid assuming this is permanent, because modern research shows that the nervous system retains adaptability even in older adults when properly stimulated. The important reframe here is this: shaky hands and weak grip are not simply an unavoidable part of aging. In many cases, they reflect a combination of reduced nerve signaling efficiency, muscle deconditioning, and poor motor activation, not irreversible damage. That means improvement is often possible with consistent, targeted effort. Now, a simple 30-day challenge can help begin this change. For the next 30 days, commit to daily short sessions of controlled hand movement exercises, light resistance work, and circulation-focused activity. The goal is not perfection, but consistency. Focus on restoring confidence in your hands, improving coordination, and rebuilding independence in everyday tasks like holding, lifting, and writing. In just a few weeks, many people notice improved steadiness, better control, and reduced fatigue during hand use.